Well, hello, welcome again to a reading of Odyssey, Book 4, and I got up to line 265. Ten depamebominos pros xanthos Menelaus. So, this is at the end. We've just had the speech of Helen, and she's been recalling various things that happened back in Troy, and now blonde Menelaus, in reply, so answering, spoke to her, said to her. And now we get a nice speech of Menelaus, which recounts some of the events that are post-Iliad, in particular the story of the reference to the story of the wooden horse. So, Naide tauta gepanta gunai katamoiran epes. Yes, indeed, O woman, so my wife perhaps, you have spoken all of these things, in fact, don't forget the particles, katamoiran, in order, or perhaps appropriately. Eidimen poleon edaen boulein te noon te andron heroon. Now, she's just been talking earlier about the fact that Menelaus is both good-looking and intelligent, and he, of course, likes the idea of that, and he picks that up a little bit here. So he says, now edain is from an old root. It's cognate with didasco, but it has da'o as an old verb, defective verb, meaning to know. So this is the aorist, I suppose. It's a kind of a passive form. So I knew, or I have come to know, the boulain, the plan and the mind. We get tet and tet there. And then the polyeon, this is from Polus, not the city, but Polus. I've come to know the intention and the mind of many men who are heroes. And ep elelutha, this is the perfect. It's from ep erchomai, so something like, I have traversed much country, for Gaian. So I've been everywhere. I've traversed much land, much country. Al upo toiuton egon idon ophthalmoisi. But not yet have I seen with my eyes. Now we get toiuton and then the correlative hoion, such a one as, now this is probably just a periphrasis for Odysseus, but it's the deer. Well, care has a range of meanings. It can mean doom or destruction. It can just mean life or fate, which is probably is here, and it's of Odysseus. And the Telemachos, much in very stout-hearted or something. Odysseus, the eske is the iterative form from the verb to be. So it's literally such as the dear heart, perhaps, of Odysseus, of much enduring or stout-hearted Odysseus, was or used to be. So we've got to paraphrase this a little bit. So, but not yet have I seen with my eyes such a one as steadfast of mind Odysseus was, this is just a periphrasis, the philon care Odysseus, just a periphrasis for Odysseus himself, I think. Hoion kai tod erexi kai etle kateros aner. Nor such a thing as this, understand, which that strong man did from resdo and endured in the polished horse. This is a reference, of course, to the wooden horse. So I've never seen a person like Odysseus, and I've never seen anyone who did and endured this thing, so any strong man who did or endured this thing in the wooden horse. Hin, where, now this is hinna in the sense of where, which is a common meaning in Homer. Sometimes it means in order that, sometimes it's where. It's where if we've got the indicative, which we have. So where all of the best men of the Argives in Hamathah, we were sitting, we were, that's inside, we were ensconced, Pherontes, bringing murder and care. Now there's that use of care again, here in the sense of fate, generally evil fate, to the Trojans. So bearing murder and destruction almost for the Trojans. And you then came, Casey, to there. You then came to there. This is an interesting part of the story here. Kelius Seminai de Semele Daimon. Now, of course, we always have to blame bad things on the gods. So, but a god. Now, there's that use of is likely to for this mellow. So it was likely that a god, Kelius Seminai, to have bidden you, understand, to come. So you didn't really do it on your own. Some god bid you to do it, ordered you to do it almost, who wished, orexis infinitive, to give glory to the Trojans, to hand over glory to the Trojans. Kaitoi Deiphobos, and indeed, godlike Deiphobos, Hespet from Hepamai. The sigma comes from the fact that there was an intervocalic S there, but it disappears in the present form Hepamai and then reappears in the aorist here. So godlike Deiphobos then followed you as you were going. You got to supply soy here. So followed you as you were going. Triste 3 times Peristexas, having walked around this koilon lokon. Now a lokos is a snare. It can mean something that you a trap or something, and koilon, hollow. So 3 times having walked around this hollow lair or snare, perhaps ampha Photosa. This is from amphi plus apho, I think is the uncontracted form. It means to touch it all around. So having walked around it 3 times, this hollow snare, having touched it around. Now the ek goes with the onomastes, I think. So you called by name. And we get a repetition here. We get one of these funny adverbs in Dane. Onomakleidane. So calling out by name the best men of the Danaans. So you touched it and you called out, you named, calling out by name the best men of the Danaans. Pantonagaion phone iskus olakoisi. This is a participle here from isco. It's to make like to. So making like, so likening your voice to the wives of all the Argives. This is a nasty thing to do. So much for her saying early on that she'd changed her mind and was quite happy to come back to Greece. But here at this point, she's trying to see if they're in there. So likening her voice to the wives of all the Argives. Arte ego, but I and the son of Tydeus. This will be Diomedes and Dios Odysseus, glorious Odysseus, sitting in their midst. Akusamen, this is an aorist without augment, we heard hos eboesas, how you were calling out. Noi, the 2 of us together, both of us, 2 of us together, Men enamen. This is from the verb men eino, if you're looking it up. Men and then ino, meaning we desired. This is a dual aorist passive participle here, but in active sense. So the two of us both, we desired, hormathentes, rushing forward. Now it is passive. Passive can often in Homer, I think, have a kind of causative sense. We were caused to rush forward, but literally just having rushed forward, we desired either ex elthemini, this is an infinitive from ex plus the elth root, either to come out, or hup acusai, or to answer forthwith, endothen, from within. Al Odysseus cat eroki kai eskethen eameno per. But Odysseus detained us. Eskethen is an ionic, it's an epic aorist form from echo, sort of a long form from echo. So Odysseus held us back, well, rather detained us and held us back, although this is a dual participle. The two of us were desiring, i.e. to come out or to call out, to answer from within. This is from the other hiemi. There are two hiemis. This is the one from huiemi, meaning to desire. Not to be confused with hiemi from sisemi, which is that verb of hurling or sending forth. So, but Odysseus was holding us back, was detaining us, and he held us back, although we were keen to understand, to go out. Enth aloi men pantes akain esan quies akaion. And there all the others, the sons of the Achaeans, esan for esan, were akain silent. That's an adverb there, very common in Homer. Antiklos de se ge hoios amepses the epeesin aethelin. But Antiklos, now the hoios is alone. The oios is alone. In fact, wished to reply to you epeesin with words. So Antiklos alone wished in fact to reply to you with words, but Odysseus epi mastakakersi pies de nelemeos krateresi. And now that's going to go with the kersi, with his strong hands. Ne lemios, it has the sense of cruelly, it's often translated as. It's really ne, that negative, and then there's the ele root from eleeo, to have mercy, so it's pitilessly, and it's often translated cruelly or harshly. Piezde, this is an imperfect from piezdo, to press upon. It goes with the preverb epi here. So, but Odysseus, pressed upon his mustaka, from mustax, funny word meaning a mouth. I presume we must get the word moustache from this, perhaps that's a false etymology, I'm not sure. That'd be interesting to look up, but it's mastax, mouth. We certainly get the word mastication from that. We're eating something. Anyway, the epi goes with the pies there. But Odysseus was holding him by the mouth cruelly with his strong hands. So was pressing against his mouth, I think might be best, the literal meaning of that. He was pressing against his mouth cruelly with his strong hands. So osidipantus akoius, and he saved. This is connected with that sozo. This would be an aorist here. This is the uncontracted form. Sozo was originally from this saos and becomes sos later on. It means to save. So he saved all the Achaeans. Tophra dek offra senosvin epagagi palas Athene. Now we get the Tophra offra. So while eke, now this is eke, for ake, it's the imperfect from echo but without augment, and we've got an epsilon elided here. So while he was holding us, or holding him back, Ophra, then Pallas Athena, led you off Nosvin, well, back I think, away, apart. Literally Nosvin means apart. So led you, well, back out of the way. Tophra Ophra, idiom there. Ton dao Telemachos pepnumenos antion aude. This is so funny. Poor old Telemachos is exhausted at this point, I think, and he's had enough. So Telemachos, thoughtful Telemachos, moreover, addressed him, well, Antion, it's sort of face to face, so said to him in reply, Atreide Menelaus Trephes. So Menelaus, son of Atreus, nourished by Zeus, leader of the people. Algion. Now you've got to supply esti here. This is a comparative, of course. So it is sadder. It is all the sadder. Uga hoi titad a arakesse lugron olethron. For tardy, these things, and this is the subject of the verb, neuter plural singular verb. So all these things, i.e. you've been just talking about, did not in any way, this is from Archeo, to ward off, they did not ward off baleful destruction, hoi, for him. Not even if the heart, in fact, endothen within, was sidereae, made of iron for him. So perhaps take the dative with the heart. Not even if his heart, in fact, within, were made of iron. And now he's tired, and he says, Al agati es unain trapet hemias. But now these must be imperatives here, but sort of it's like come, and it's an epsilon elided, so it's the polite plural here. But so come, trapete, I think it must be, send us to bed, Hophrakai, since also now, or perhaps, sorry, so that also now, Koimethentes, having gone to sleep, having been put to sleep, perhaps having been lulled by, because it is passive here, having been lulled by sweet sleep, Tarpometha, we might take our pleasure. We might get some rest, basically. So that also now, lulled by sweet sleep, we might, well, perhaps almost relax, or perhaps we might take our pleasure, literally. And that is the next section of Book 4.